Book Sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates.
Common Sense was made before Book Sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates. Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes civil literal lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm rock bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Sorbet, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J, Israel. Hand over door, I lay in plain sight. But people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up.
Common Sense was made before Book Sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates. Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes civil literal lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm rock bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Sorbet, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J, Israel. Hand over door, I lay in plain sight. But people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Morris or Moor, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts slap a dirty Moor or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brain waves, squash my heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. DA are feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't like go prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book all maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness. No pestilence, ace all the testaments.
Common Sense was made before Book Sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates. Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes civil literal lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm rock bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Sorbet, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J, Israel. Hand over door, I lay in plain sight. But people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Morris or Moor, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts slap a dirty Moor or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brain waves, squash my heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. DA are feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't like go prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When when you feel the cold magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book called Maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence. Ace all the testaments, tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no they live shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Bet they won't. Bet they won't give it a try. Honors to all the Moors worldwide, all the nobles, all the Moorish people everywhere that know the truth about who we are. Honors to you. I took the shackles off the mind in the 90s. In the 90s, found out about know thyself, knowing who we are, study our history and all that stuff. Right? 90s. So when more science hit in 2008, and then started moving in that direction, I was pissed for 2 years. Pissed. Because how I have knowledge of self since the 90s and never heard about this till 2008. And then you look around and you find out that all these people who were supposed to tell didn't tell. And they all sold me out. All the schools of thought sold out. All of them sold out. All the schools of thought sold out. Because ain't no way I know thyself since the 90s and just found out about Noble Drew Ali 2008 and that we're Moors. How? Oh, somebody didn't tell. So we know people in all the schools of thought. I'm not just saying we're Moors because we know Moors from every school of thought. Every school of thought, we know a Moor who used to be part of that and said, F that, we're Moors. And I'm riding with my nationality. We know Moors who were out of schools of thought. So the Hebrew Israelite school of thought, we know Moors. Just go to YouTube, search Canaanland Moors, Hebrew Israelites, and just watch all those. So we know Moors who are Hebrew Israelite. Not were Hebrew Israelite and all that stuff. We know Moors who are Hebrew Israelite. So anybody who's Hebrew Israelite can't tell me that they're not Moors. And they're studying different stuff than what Moors are studying. Because I know Moors who they go to Ethiopia and all that. Moors. No Moors who are Moorish temple of the Zionist Jews. We know Moors who are them. And instead of the stars and stripes and all that stuff, they're flying Ethiopian flag. They have the Moroccan flag and the Ethiopian flag. They're saying they're those Jews. You know, anybody else who you're talking about that says that they're Jews, we ain't concerned with them. Only Jews we know are these ones over here. And everybody knows that. It's not some secret info. Everybody knows that's who the real Jews are. The guys over there. You know, pale people, the original Jews. Hebrew, Israelite, whatever you want to call them. We know Moors from that school. And the Moors from the Hebrew Israelite school of thought, they study what we study. They'll study some separate stuff. They study also what we study. So when, because you know, our stuff's an open book, right? So you could say whatever, bring whatever, and we'll rebut it. Because we come from all these schools of thoughts. You didn't just come here yesterday. You're not Johnny come latelys. You've been here. And we know where our people's direction needs to be. And where they're going with all these different schools of thought and all that stuff, they're not going anywhere, just like they've been going everywhere ever since they started doing all that BS in the 1930s to today. Still doing all the same BS since the 1930s to today. Calling themselves all type of stuff. Have nothing to do with nationality. Making up stuff, call themselves that, has nothing to do with nationality. Everybody else in the world deal with nationality. These dummies over here, they don't want to deal with nationality. They want to play games with our people. All right, no problem. We'll play a little game with you. So let's see what you Hebrew whoever's. For the people who say, oh, you should just check this out. You know, you should have an open mind and all that. You should be receptive to other teachings and all that. No, all these people are full of BS. But since you want us to watch stuff, because not just me, it's other Moors or whatever like that. If they come on here, they'll say the same thing I'm saying. These people are full of BS. This is not some for the live whatever. This is across the board. People feel like this, who are Moors. They're just gonna play on some first principle and, you know, love instead of hate. But no, this not. We don't hate any groups and all that. We don't hate anybody else's school of thought. We don't hate that. We just know that's bit back kindergarten stuff. And we're grown. We're adults. But since you want to play kindergarten games, let's play kindergarten with you people for a little bit with this Mike Maliss. Hebrew Israelite guys. Right? Nothing Hebrew going on. Chains in the background and where's the Hebrew stuff? Some frills, that's it. You know, little frills. That's what it means. But let's hear where they're going with their BS.
Heard this before, but when it comes to Black, Hispanic, and Native American people, we are the biblical Israelites according to the Bible. And so what we're going to do right now, I have to familiarize or remind you that we have enemies on this planet. God, the God of Israel, the God of the Bible. You know that very same book that many of you Christians pick up and claim to love, but you have no idea what it says. You have no idea what the words on the page says. Yes, that book.
That book? Okay, well, let's check some things from this book. So you already know that if you're dealing with any type of scriptures, you should be looking at everything metaphysical. You're not supposed to be looking at anything from some literal perspective when it comes to scriptures, because scriptures are esoteric. That's why Jesus and the disciples and all of them were mystics. Because these people aren't some Jehovah's Witness coming to your door to tell you about that. That's not what this is about. These people are social reformers. They're going to reform society because they have a unapologetic truth that they're going to put that truth through all the lands. The truth is anytime anybody's talking scriptures to you, you better be looking at what they're saying metaphysical. You better. But since we know you won't, we're going to show you what Israelites metaphysically is. Forget what the Bible told you, what an Israelite is. That's allegory. That's metaphorical. That's not some historic reference point. That's mystical. The Israelites are the illuminated thoughts in consciousness which are undergoing spiritual discipline. Those are the Israelites. Israelites not some guys that you see parading around as if they're doing something impressive. That's not what an Israelite is. The Israelite is disciplined thoughts and consciousness. That's an Israelite. Anybody telling you anything else, they're playing you. Because an Israelite is metaphysic. That's not a people. That's not a nationality. Israelite. That's not a nationality. That's metaphysical. Might as well check Israel, since you're in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, and they're talking about their Israelite. Israelite, the root word of Israelite is what? Israel, isn't it? All right. All right. So let's just check and see. Let's just check and see. Metaphysical meaning of Israel. The significance of changing of Jacob's name to Israel is this. The mind controls the body through the nerves, and a great nerve, the sciatic, runs down the leg through the hollow of the thigh. The will acts directly through this nerve, and when the individual, through his mentality or understanding, Jacob, exercises his I am power upon the natural man in an attempt to make unity between spirit and divine natural, there is a letting go of the human will. Jacob's thigh is out of joint. Remember Jacob's thigh? Remember Jacob's thigh going out of joint? And you thought he was walking and then his thigh went out of joint? No, it's metaphysical. A great light of understanding breaks in the struggling soul when it discovers that there is a divine natural body, and it clings to that inner life and strength and eventually brings it to the surface in perpetual vigor. This is the significance of the blessing and the new name Israel, one who has power with God and man, spiritual and material. So what are they going to go say? They're going to say, well, Israel's a nation and the land of Israel, and they're going to be talking crazy, right? Okay. Israel as a nation, in its highest significance, symbolizes spiritual consciousness. The thoughts that have been wrought in truth and righteousness make the spiritual mind or spiritual consciousness Israel. So Israelite, that's not a people. And Israel, that's not a nation. It's all metaphysics. This is what those Hebrews that start saying that they're Moors, and they say, I'm forgetting my nationality, and they have a Hebrew name with El Beide Al Ali on it, just like the NOI. Who figured it out? And then they said, forget that XBS. We're going to start calling ourselves El Beide Al Ali and all that. Because the only way it's going to work is if you have a nationality. These Hebrews know exactly what I know. They're Hebrews. They know exactly what I know. They know that Israel is some BS. They're Moors. They're Israel in consciousness. They're Israelite in consciousness. But their nationality, they're Moorish American. Not sitting around playing around with some school of thought game. The consciousness is the school of thought, not the identity. The school of thought's not our identity. So because those Moors figured it out, now they're getting the blessings from Yahweh. Now them and Yahweh are one. Because Moor science brought them to that. Their Hebrew leader guy, whoever didn't put it to them like that, it was only because they started studying Noble Drew Ali and all that is how they figured this stuff out. That, oh damn, all the stuff in the Torah is metaphysical. This is not. We're sitting here thinking about places and all that stuff. Mountains are that's what they're talking about. That's not what they're talking about. But again, the sellout leaders, if they can sing you that siren song and get you in the trance, then they'll have you in a trance forever. While they get to, the next week they have the new mic, and then next week they have the new background, and then next week they got the couch out, and then they got the couch and stuff like that, and they're on the couch doing the stuff, and then you're sitting there eating roach cereal, talking about consciousness, liberation. Get the hell out of here. Playing yourself. Playing yourself because you allow yourself to be played. But all these sellout leaders playing religious bit-bat kindergarten games with you. Instead of giving you the truth so you could figure some stuff out. Get out this BS that we're under. Playing around.
That book actually says that we, black people, black, Hispanic, and Native American people, we actually have enemies. So what we're going to do right now is go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68, and we're going to read exactly who these enemies are, and we are going to identify them. Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt. Egypt means slavery, according to Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. Again, with ships.
How come the Buddhists say that a sailing ship symbolizes the journey of life and spiritual exploration, guiding individuals toward understanding and ultimately reaching Nibbana, the state of liberation? They just told you that Egypt means slavery, right? All right, well, if Egypt means slavery, then the ship, right? The ship is the liberation. Because you have to go through the terrors and the horrors and all that stuff to get to the liberation, right? Isn't slavery the terrors and the horrors and all that stuff? These people complaining about what a European did to them and all that stuff, right? So then, so then you're supposed to, that's supposed to be beneficial to you. You're supposed to learn from that and then not let that ever happen again and all that stuff, right? Significance in Theravada. Buddhism. The path of purification. A vessel used metaphorically to represent the journey of life and spiritual exploration toward understanding and reaching Nibbana. The sailing ship symbolizes agility and strategic movement, akin to coursing chariots in battle, highlighting their ability to navigate challenge effectively. This metaphor reflects the importance of dexterity in both warfare and life. Ships. So while you're sitting here and they're playing slavery games with you, because you know that stuff is a myth, right? We're not even gonna go into that, but just know that that stuff is a myth. Right? Any of these leader whoever's, as soon as they start going down that road of some slaves and all that stuff, and then you're playing this victimization thing because somebody did something to you and all that, as soon as you start going on there, know that they're playing you, because that stuff is a myth. Roots is a myth. That stuff is fake. Because when you go check, you'll see that it's brothers and sisters that were the slave masters. It wasn't some modern Europeans. Go look up who the first slave master was and get your mind blown. And then look up the second one and the third and all that stuff. Over here, the slave masters over here, when they talk about the slavery and all that, they try to play that game with you. Instead of them telling you that, oh yeah, it's colonization, they're playing slave games with you. Because they want you in that victim mentality. They want you in that victim mindset. This is why, again, why they keep going to talking about scriptures and all that stuff. Well, the good word and all that stuff, they're going to go all the way there. But they're not going to tell you the metaphysical meaning of stuff. And have you lost? Have the people lost, thinking this is their salvation? But they're playing with them. Like really playing around with them. So not only all the place names and the rivers and all that stuff is metaphysical, even the chapter names, even the book names of the scriptures are metaphysical. The fifth book of the Bible, and supposed to have been written by Moses. Authorities, however, disagree as to this. It is named Deuteronomy because it rehearses or retells the law. Now, how come they have Moses blue right there? Oh, let's just push that and see what happens. Why is Moses blue right here? Oh, there's a metaphysical meaning for Moses. Oh, isn't he the father of the stuff and all that? Isn't he their boy? All right. Moses means drawing out, extracting. The birth of Moses represents man's development in consciousness of the law of his being from the negative side. Water represents universal negation, but water also represents the great possibility. Out of seemingly negative conditions comes the new growth. Isn't slavery the negative condition? So where's the new growth that we're supposed to be experiencing since we went through the slavery and all that stuff? And metaphysically, slavery is negative conditions. Oh, so there's supposed to be at least some some budding of something or whatever. Nothing growing around here. Now you didn't figure out why yet? The game could be played as long as you want. But know that divine is always going to prevail. You can play whatever games that you want to play. But divine doesn't play games. Right? When you stub your baby toe, that's when you're gonna realize that you effed up. You know you effed up, right? That's what you realize. When you do the oops and get the big slice on your finger because you weren't paying attention, doing some dumb stuff, all those are the ones reminding you. Divine's always watching.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, by the way I'm telling you that it is going to happen, thou shalt see it no more again. We will no longer see Jerusalem because that's where we are being scattered from.
Interesting. So you're being scattered from, huh? Why don't we look up Jerusalem? Since all these places are metaphysical and none of it is actual a place, they're playing you. Divine is first. Anything else after that has its place. But without divine, you're done for. So start looking at all this stuff metaphysical, please. Stop playing around and letting people play you. Now they got the couch and now they got the fridge there and now they got the girls in the back and then you're sitting there talking about conscious. Going with liberation. People just think about their selfish self. I don't care about you. Jerusalem means habitation of peace. In man, it is the abiding consciousness of spiritual peace, which is the result of continuous realizations of spiritual power, tempered with spiritual poise and confidence. Jerusalem is the city of David, quote unquote, which symbolizes the great nerve center just back of the heart. From this point, spirit sends its radiance to all parts of the body. That's Jerusalem. Yeah, Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, truthunity.net. Truthunity.net. Or you could just put up metaphysical meaning of and whatever the word is in Google or whatever search engine, and it's the first thing that'll pop up. Right. Metaphysical meaning. Don't fall for it. As soon as they start talking about some spiritual or scripture or anything relative to religious concepts, I don't care if they're talking about a sheep, if they're talking about gates, if they're talking about rivers, whatever they're bringing up, there's a metaphysical meaning for those. Divine wants you to check there. Don't worry what he's saying. Take your notes and then you go do your own research. Don't just go with what's being said. You're going to take your notes and to go fact check, because you got to come back and say, well, yeah, okay, yeah, this thing is legit what they're talking about, or these people are full of BS. And going back again to these schools of thought, this is what all these Moors figured out. That all of them are full of BS. You know what? I'm going to be with the Moorish nation. I'm proclaiming my nationality. I'm a Moor. Yeah, honors to, minister, whatever, and honors to, sheik whoever and whatever. But you're not pulling that BS on me. I know better. Know better.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen, slave men, and bondwomen, slave women, and no man shall buy you, meaning no man shall rescue you. Now, as everybody know and understand, everybody knows and understands history. When it comes to slavery, that happened to our people. We are the only people on this planet that can identify with the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28, 15 through 68. So now it mentioned enemies. God said that they are our enemies. Who were we sold to? We are not going to act stupid. We're not going to play dumb. Who were black people? Who were Hispanic people sold to? We were sold to white people by who? Africans, the Hamites, Israelites. We are the children of Shem. We are Shemitic. We do not share DNA, nor do we share paternal. We do not share any paternal information with Africans, okay? There was a split. There was a split between...
There was a split. Hold on a second. So, if Shem, metaphysically, is the spiritual in man, and Ham is the physical in man, and Japheth is the intellect or reason, the mental of man. Noah's three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, refer to the spiritual, the physical, and the mental in man. So what split you talk? You find me some walking sentient being that split themselves, like they're talking about Shem, Ham, and Japheth are split. See how it played you? There's no split. All of them is you. You are the three sons of Noah. Ain't some guys back there? You're it. Christ is you. Not some guy back there. You're Christ. But you'd only see it that way if you look at stuff metaphysical. As soon as you look at it mundane, you're done. Because they have you in the time loop. What you even doing in there? How you in the time loop? How you? Don't let these people play you. You're talking about the enemy, and all this. Yeah? Always playing victim. Somebody else is never. They never say it themselves. Right? None of the schools of thought. They never say that. Oh yeah, we did it. It's our fault. You're not gonna go there. Now he's pointing the finger at somebody else. Did it to him. Metaphysical meaning of adversary. The vain imagination, that there could in reality be anything opposed to divine mind, or could be any separation of man from it, led to the formation of a state of mind that is described in the Bible as the adversary. We find that the various names, Satan, devil, adversary, accuser, carnal mind, old man, man of sin, and personality, all refer to the consciousness that man has built up in his ignorance of his true estate. Their true estate. Satan, devil, adversary, enemy, all refer to the consciousness that man has built up in his ignorance. And then they're in that position of ignorance trying to convince you about people are colors. People are identified by how they look. And again, when you go check for yourself and you read, there's somebody in the chat said people don't damn read, that's their damn problem. This is the definition of free white persons. Free white persons. It says in the definition of free white persons in the Law Dictionary that it does not mean Caucasian race. It does not mean Caucasian race. So this is another sign that someone's playing you. As soon as they refer to the enemy, the adversary, as the white man or white people or white devil or white whatever, as soon as they go there, know that they're playing you. Because white does not mean Caucasian race. People who are not from here, the Americas, when they naturalize, whether they're going to naturalize to be Canadian or naturalize to be a U.S. citizen, which both of those are fictions. Both of those are wardship. When they naturalize, their classification is white. That's why they can get all those benefits and the niggers can't. And they're saying that they know that they did all this stuff to the black guy. And he can't get anything yet. But people are coming after him and getting more in less time that he's got in those 500 years that they're complaining about some slavery BS. That white man did it to him. And then Moors are telling him it does not mean Caucasian race. It doesn't mean Caucasian race. White means Moorish inhabitants. Moorish. You know Moorish? You know mixed? You know what mixed means? You know why they're going to put mixed there? Because we're in them. Celtic, you think that's some pale people? Portugal, you think that's pale people? Moorish. Right? Going back again. It's all metaphysics. Ain't no 12 tribes of Israel. That's the zodiac. It's just, 12 tribes and the blacks and the Hispanics and the whatever part of this tribe. That's BS. Let's go check. Let's just see if it comes up. Let's just check and see. Metaphysical meaning of 12 tribes of Israel. Metaphysically, the 12 tribes of Israel symbolize spiritual completion and represent the diverse yet unified aspects of the divine consciousness or human potential. Each tribe is seen to embody a particular spiritual faculty or power, such as understanding, faith, or strength, which are essential components of perfect spiritual expression and the journey toward God. They also represent the unity of the spiritual community, much like the 12 constellations of the zodiac govern the heavens. Metaphysical meaning of 12. 12. Metaphysically, 12 always refers to spiritual fulfillment. And Elijah took 12 stones according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of Jehovah. The 12 stones represent the 12 most important nerve centers in the body. All material things represent spiritual realities. When you read in scriptures, all material things represent spiritual realities. Before we can realize unfettered power, we must establish permanent resolutions of purity and covenants of conformity with the higher law of obedience. The higher law of obedience. Let's just check law, quick, fast, right? So the law of obedience, and then we're going to check law. So law, metaphysically. So you see how many things fall under metaphysic definitions? That if you don't go check and you're looking at it as some mundane, you're going to be lost forever. That's why divine is first. Noble Drew Ali is a mastermind. He knew exactly what he was doing for who he was doing it for. Metaphysical meaning of law. The faculty of the mind that holds every thought and acts strictly to the truth of being, regardless of circumstances or environment. Law is a mathematical faculty. It places first things first. Laws of mind are just as exact, as undeviating as the laws of mathematics. To recognize this is the starting point in finding God. Man does not make the law. The law is, and it was established for our benefit before the world was formed. Right? So all those people talking about constitution is the law and all that stuff, and then playing you in those realms. Man does not make law. Now you tell me about some man stuff. Man doesn't make law. Laws, mathematics. This is why. Where did it go? This is why. Right? This is what they're talking about. The law is mathematics. The law is mathematics. That's what it all breaks down to. Not the mathematics of the nations of gods and earths. Not that mathematics. I'm talking about that. I know they're gonna jump in as I see the mathematics. No, we're not talking about that stuff. Elijah, just back to the meeting of the 12. Elijah repaired the altar of Jehovah that had been thrown down. Obedience seems a simple matter, but the 12 fundamental faculties enter into its perfect expression. Elijah took 12 stones and fitted them together to form an altar, each stone representing one of the sons of Jacob, who won the name Israel in recognition of his perseverance toward perfection. So don't allow them to play you. If anybody's talking some type of scripture or whatever to you, anybody's referring to some type of holy book and all that stuff, you make sure you check everything that they say is metaphysical definition, so that you can be absolutely clear with what is being presented. And you can be absolutely clear if people are playing around with you. Because obviously you see people are playing around. Now you obviously see that they're playing around. Right? The Hebrew Israelite stuff is some BS. That's not a nationality. Everything they're talking about is some metaphysics. Israelites not a nationality. That's consciousness. There's no nationality called Israelite. And if an Israelite has a nationality, it's Moorish. Not going to be some tribe of Judah or whatever like that when there's no J in Hebrew. What tribe of Judah are you talking about? There's a tribe of Judah and there's no J in the language. Which again show you somebody played you. Study, study, study. Honors to all Moors worldwide. Honors to our prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Supreme honors, love and peace to all the Moors in the chat. Supreme honors. Noble Drew Ali's the man. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Islam.